Hello friends, welcome to this lecture on Introduction to Data Structures. So let's look at the topics which we will be discussing in this lecture. So we talk about what exactly is a data structure, then we'll look into types of data structures like linear, non-linear, then we'll look at some foundational concepts of arrays and linked list. Then we'll look why do we need different data structures. There are so many different data structures available. It is been used in the industry. So why there is a need for different data structures? Why can't a single data structure can be used to solve all the problems? So it's a very interesting question which we will be discussing. Why do we need different data structures? And finally, we will conclude this lecture by discussing where exactly does stack fit in, because this course is on stack. So we have to give a special emphasis on stack, where exactly the stack fit in when we talk about data structures as a whole. So what's the role of stack, where the stack fits in, that we will discuss. So these are the topics which we will be covering one by one in this lecture. So first let's look at what exactly is a data structure. So when I talk about data structure, it is basically a way of organizing data. So data structure is a way of organizing data. So we organize data in a special way, like in the form of a tree or graph, or it can be a linear organization, like we can organize it in a sequential manner. So the way of organizing data, the way of storing data. So how we will be storing the data, the way of storing data, and the way of managing the data. So data structure is basically structuring the data, like organizing the data, storing the data, managing the data. And why we do all this? What's the main objective? To use the data efficiently, or to handle the data efficiently. See, no matter how small program you write or how big system you develop, data is an integral part of it. Every program, every process will involve data. Like a small program or a very big system, a complex project you are making, a big system you are making, it will involve data. So no matter what, we have to handle the data. And handling the data efficiently will optimize our system. It will optimize the performance. Our system will take, it will function very smoothly, like a software system you are developing. It will function very smoothly. It will take less time to compute, to perform operations. So that is handling the data efficiently. So the goal is to handle the data efficiently, and that we can achieve by using data structures, because in data structures what we do, we organize the data, we store the data in a special way, we organize the data in a special way, in a particular way, we manage the data. We don't just use the data as it is, rather we apply some special techniques on the data, some special techniques of organizing, storing and managing the data, and it will help us in handling the data efficiently. So that's the main idea of data structure. So you can think data structures as different containers designed for different purposes. If we correlate it with the real world example, like if I talk about a bookshelf. So in bookshelf also we organize the books in a particular way so that we can manage it very easily. So book in a bookshelf, it organizes books in rows. Like books are not kept in a random order, but books are organized in rows, and it will enable us quick access. Similarly, drawer. So we make use of drawer to store small items, and whenever we are needing of those small items, very easily we can get it from drawers. So it is a container for a specific purpose. Bookshelf is a container for a specific purpose. If you look into a queue at a ticket counter, so here what is happening is that a A special organization is there, like people enter at one end and leave at another end. So queue enables a specific way in which a element can be added and removed. Similarly, we have stack of plates. So we are talking about organization of elements, how we are organizing elements or objects in different ways. So in stack of plates, the plate which is placed recently, plate placed last is removed first. So this is the idea. So what we are trying to convey is that we saw different ways of organizing elements or objects. Like in bookshelf, the object is the book and they are organized in the form of rows. In drawer, small items are the objects which are stored in a random way, because in drawer you just throw small items in randomly. Queue, people, they are organized in such a way that at a time only one person can be removed from the queue, and that is also from the beginning. And if a new person enters, he has to enter at the end of the queue. Similarly, stack of plates, so they follow a specific way of organizing objects, storing objects, managing objects. So this is the like real world analogy. So in real world also, we organize, we handle objects in a specific way. And the same we will be doing when it comes to storing data in memory. And when I talk about memory, I'm mainly talking about RAM. How efficiently I will, like, specific ways of storing data in memory, RAM, will definitely improve the performance, will help me in handling the data efficiently. That's the main idea of data structure. So the main idea is that the way we store data, it decides how fast we can access, insert, delete, and process it. So the way we store data decides how efficiently we can handle the data, how fast we can access the data, insert the data, delete the data, and process the data. And hence it is very important. Like data structures, like DSA data structures and algorithms are very important. Especially like any product based company you apply for, the initial, the main prereq or the eligibility criteria is the DSA. You have to clear the DSA round, then only you can get hired. Because in any product, like a software product you are making or any software system you are developing, handling data efficiently is the key, because it will directly affect the performance of the software product. So hence data structures are very important. So hopefully you got a feel of it, what exactly is data structure. Now we'll look into types of data structures. So we can classify data structures into two types: linear data structures and non-linear data structures. So data structures, we can classify it as linear data structures and non-linear data structures. We'll look at both of it. So first let's focus on linear data structures. So the main idea is that in linear data structure, elements are arranged sequentially, in a sequential manner, in a sequential order. Elements are arranged sequentially. Means sequential means one after the other. And if we talk about examples of linear data structures, array, linked list, stack, queue. So these are examples of linear data structures. If you look at the characteristics, elements have a previous and next relation, because since elements are arranged in a sequential order, one after the another, every element will can have a previous and a next element. So elements do have previous and next relationship in linear data structures. Easy to traverse sequentially. Since they are sequential traversal will be very easy. Sequential traversal will be very easy. Suitable when order matters. So when you talk about order, suitable when order matters. So that's the main characteristics of linear data structures. Because if data you have to arrange it in a order, in a linear order, on a sequential order, then we have to go for linear data structure. We also have non-linear data structures. So definitely in non-linear data structures, elements are not arranged sequentially. So elements can basically branch, connect, or form networks. So here elements can form branches, they can connect with each other in a random order, or they can form networks like in graphs. Examples, we have trees and graphs. They are like very common example of non-linear data structure. We also have heaps. If we talk about the characteristics of non-linear data structures, so non-linear data structure, they represent some sort of hierarchy. So represents hierarchical or network like relations, represent hierarchical or network like relationships. Here the traversal is not straightforward. Traversal will be tricky. Traversal is not straightforward. It will be tricky. And definitely non-linear data structures are used in some complex scenarios like searching. Like let us suppose you want to implement searching. So instead of using a linear data structure, if you store the elements in the form of a tree or a non-linear data structure, your searching will be much more efficient. Pathfinding. Pathfinding, you definitely make use of trees and graphs. Indexing, like hashing or some sort of indexing also, tree plays a very interesting role. So there are many complex scenarios where if we use non-linear data structures, we are able to optimize the problem. We are able to improve the performance of the system. And hence, non-linear data structures are also very important. They have their own importance. And linear data structures are simple. And in simple scenarios, linear data structures will help us. It will solve our problems. But for complex scenarios, you can go for you can go with non-linear data structures. So this is the types of data structures which we discussed. Now we'll look at some foundations like the concepts of arrays and linked list. Like we'll keep the discussion very brief, will not go very deep, just important concepts of arrays and linked list. So first we'll focus on arrays. So if I talk about array, it is fixed size. See, definitely there is a concept of dynamic array also, but usually we talk about static arrays which are fixed size. Fixed size means we cannot change the size during the runtime. Once the during the compile time itself, you specify the size and that much space the array will occupy. And array is basically homogeneous collection of elements stored in contiguous memory. What it means is that homogeneous collection means similar kind of data. Like if you have an array, it can be either of an array of integers or array of floating point numbers or array of characters. It cannot be mixture. An array cannot hold like different data types. List can do that. List is heterogeneous, but array is homogeneous. And contiguous memory means continuous, one block after the other, like continuous, sequential. So this is like array, fixed size, homogeneous collection of elements stored in contiguous memory. If I talk about key features of arrays, so there is a concept of index, and elements of the array are accessed using index. So elements are accessed. So in array, elements are accessed using index. And since we are using index, the access is very fast and the access is random. Very fast random access. It's a very powerful property of array. Very fast random access. Big O one. Constant time operation. See, the idea is that now in array, if you want to get any element, no need to start from the beginning. You just have to know the index. If you know the index, straight away you can access that element. So random access we can do very fast in big O of one time, because no need for any iteration, no need. But in linked list, we have to iterate. Like we have to get to that point from the beginning. So this is where array, because there are sometimes question that when is array more superior as compared to linked list, in which scenario? And when there is a scenario wherein we want very fast random access, there we should use array over linked list. So this is a very interesting feature of array, very fast random access we can get. Here we are talking about, so the size is fixed. So you know that how array is defined, like in C programming, int ARR, AR is the name of the array. Here we specify the size, and here it means array can store 5 elements, and we are just giving those elements. So what will happen is that array will get created. Indexing will always be from 0. So 0 to 4, and these elements will get stored. So this is how array works. Now, what are the cons, the challenges or the limitations of array? The first is, like if I'm talking about static array, size is fixed. So fixed size is a problem, because during runtime, if I need more space, not possible. And one more very important point, insertion and deletion is hard, expensive. Insertion and deletion is expensive. Now, why is it so? So, because see, what will happen now, let us suppose I want to insert in the middle, like at index 2. If I want to insert an element at index 2, I have to make space. So, I have to shift the elements. So, first I have to make the space, then I will insert. Now, let us suppose if you have millions of records and you have to insert somewhere in the middle index, like like you have 1 lakh record or 10 lakh record, and you have to insert at index number 5 lakh. So you have to, or you have to insert in the 1 lakh index. So many shifting operations you have to do, no, to make space. So that's why insertion is expensive. And same with deletion. Like if you delete a element, then you have to fill that vacant space. So let us suppose you delete this element. So you have to shift in this direction. So both insertion and deletion is expensive. So if you are inserting element or deleting element, you have to shift the elements, and hence it is expensive. So that's the limitation of an array. But in linked list, insertion and deletion will be very, very fast. That we'll look at. So now we'll look at linked list. So linked list is basically a dynamic structure, means no fixed size. During the runtime, dynamic structure, because during the runtime, if you need more space, you can get it. So linked list basically consists of node. So dynamic structure consisting of nodes, and node will contain two things, data and pointer to the next node. So linked list will look something like this. Like there will be a head which will point to the first node. Now, first node will contain the data. Let us suppose 5 is the data, and pointer to the next node. So let us suppose no node is there. So it will point to null. And let us suppose if more nodes are there, then we can add more node like this. And every node will have data and pointer to the next node. If next node is pointing nowhere, like it is pointing, then it will point to null. Because if it's the end node, then it will point to null. Or if it is pointing to any node, then we can have one more node. And that node will also have data and pointer to the next node. And similarly, it will keep on going like this. Like it can have n number of nodes. And the beauty of linked list is dynamic. During the runtime, you can add more nodes and insert it to the existing linked list. So let us suppose this is our existing linked list. Now during the runtime, I want more nodes. So I can just create a node, add data to it, and insert it wherever I want. Let us suppose I want to insert it here. So links just I have to change. That's it. So during the runtime, it's a dynamic structure. I can increase the size, I can add new nodes like that. So this is the linked list. If I look at the characteristics or the key features, so dynamic sizing is a very, very important and a powerful characteristic or a key feature of linked list. Efficient insertion and deletion. Efficient insertion and deletion. Because we already saw if you want to insert an element somewhere in the middle also, no need to shuffle anything. Just you have to get to that point and alter the links. That's it. Very easily you can insert. And if you want to remove also any element, you just have to go to that. To go to that point, you have to iterate. Like because you cannot random access is not allowed in linked list. That's a challenge or a limitation of a linked list. Randomly you cannot reach any node. You have to reach to any node. You have to start from the head, and from the head you'll go to the first node, then the subsequent nodes. So access is expensive. Like you want to access any element, you have to start from the beginning. Random access is not allowed. But deletion is efficient as compared to array, because in array we saw that we have to make space. Like once we remove the element, we have to fill that space, and because of that we have to shift the elements. But in linked list, no need to do all that. Just you have to reach to the point node, you just delete it and alter the links. That's it. So efficient insertion and deletion. And one more very important feature of linked list, there is no need for contiguous memory. No contiguous memory needed. And if I talk about challenges, cons, or the limitations of linked list, the only limitation like which we can see is no direct access by index. Like you cannot directly access any node, no direct access by index. And since there is no direct access to a node, access will be slower. It will lead to slower access. Because if you want to access a node, the time complexity will be order of n, big O n. Because that many elements you have to go through, scan through. Like so access will depend on the size. And you know that big O talks about worst case. So here we are talking about worst case. What will be the worst case? Worst case will be accessing the last element. That will be the worst case. And how much time it will take? Like it will be order of n. Because if I have 100 elements, so the time will be based on that only, order of n, big O n. So we saw like array and linked list. There are certain scenarios wherein array is more efficient to use, especially when you want random access, you want very fast access, you go with array. But when there is a scenario wherein you want fast or efficient insertion and deletion, then you have to stick to linked list. So with this example or with this use case, like whatever we discussed, now we are getting a feel that why do we need different data structures? Because we already saw that different data structures have different capabilities or different speciality, and hence we need different data structures for different scenarios. So we can say that different applications need different ways of storing and accessing data. If you talk about fast search, for fast searching, we'll go with hashing. Like the data structure will be hashing, or the data structure will be hash tables. Hashing is a technique, data structure is hash table. Or we can also use trees for fast search. So if the application is fast search, you should go with hash tables or trees. If the application is fast insertion or deletion, then you should go with linked list. If the application is undo redo operations, then you should go with stacks, stack data structure. When order of processing matters, when order of processing matters, like first come first serve, then go for queues data structure. And if you want to represent maps or networks, then go for graphs data structure. So the idea is very clear that there is no single best data structure. There is no single best data structure. So we have different data structures and they have different applications. Based on the scenario, you have to select the data structure. So now we got an idea that why do we need different data structures? Why can't a single data structure can be used to solve all kind of problems? That is not possible. So there is no single best data structure to solve all the problems. For different applications, we have to use different data structures. Now we'll look at where does stack fit in. It means like we'll get some idea about the stack, like what exactly is stack. So if we talk about stack data structure, it's a linear data structure. It's a linear data structure based on the principle LIFO. And what LIFO means? Last in, first out. Last in, first out. So now there are many scenarios wherein we want this kind of a principle, wherein we want that whatever element we inserted last, we want it to be first to be get out. So let us look at some examples of those scenarios. Then you will get a more clear understanding. Browser history. So what happens is that whatever you are browsing, it will keep on piling up. Means to say that let us suppose you visited a web page A, then B, then B will be on top of A, then C. So in this way, the browsing history is maintained in the form of stack. Whatever new page you are visiting, it will get on top of the previous piles of pages. So browser history, the data is organized in the form of a stack. Undo or redo operation. So we can achieve undo or redo operation only with stack. Stack can enable us to do this. Because in the stack, whatever operations you are performing, if you are keep on pushing it that, like let us suppose operation A, I have a stack. You performed operation A, then B, then C. Now let us suppose operation C, it was a mistake. You have to do undo. Then you can just pop it. When you pop it, previous operation will all you can access that. So that is what undo is. And let us suppose you once again want the C operation, you redo it. So it will be in the stack. So undo redo operation very easily you can achieve using the stack data structure. Function call management. Function call management we can achieve using stack data structure. How? Let us see. Let us suppose there is a scenario wherein I have a function A. Inside the function A, I'm calling function B. I have function B. Inside function B, I'm calling function C. And I have function C separately. And in the main program, let us suppose you're calling function A. So if you put function A in the stack, now during the execution of function A, function B will be called. It will be there in the stack. And during the execution of function B, function C will be called. It will be pushed in the stack. Now, function C is not calling anything else. So it will just all the lines of code of C will get executed. And once the execution of C is completed, we'll pop it. And once we pop C, we will once again get back to B. And we will get back to that point from where the C was called. So just after that, all the remaining lines of code will execute of B. And once all the lines of code of B got executed, we'll pop that B. Then we'll go to A, the point where B was called. Just after that, we'll execute all the lines of code, remaining lines of code of A. And once all the lines of code of A got executed, we'll pop A. So see how we were able to manage the function call very efficiently using the stack. So stack data structure helps us in function call management, expression evolution. So whenever you want to like evaluate an mathematical expression, you have to make use of the stack. Stack will play a very magical role in that. Reversing sequences. You can very easily reverse a sequence. You can very easily reverse a sequence. Now, let us suppose you have a sequence, madam. What you'll do is you'll just keep on pushing the sequence. Okay, let me take a different example because it's a palindrome. So you might not feel the difference. Let me take apple. So what I'll do is that all these characters I'll keep on pushing one by one in the stack. Then what I'll do is that I'll keep on popping it and printing it. So E, L, P, P, A. Because when I will pop it from the top, E, then L, then. So I was able to reverse the sequence very easily using stack. So stack enabled or it helped us in reversing the sequence. In parsers, like in compiler, parsing is there. Like in parsing technique, stack is used. In memory management also stack is used. Like if you look into the memory organization, stack is always there. So we saw where does stack fit in. Like stack has got lots of applications because what stack is a special kind of a linear data structure in which we store the data in such a way that last inserted will be the first, which will be the out. So we will keep on piling up the data like one after the other. So we store the data in this special way and it enables us to solve so many different kinds of problems. So many applications we saw of stack and many more applications are there. So that is what we will be discussing this in this course, stack data structure in detail. Here you got some basic idea about stack, a feel of stack, and you can implement stack using array, using linked list. So friends, finally we completed this lecture, introduction to data structures. You got a feel of data structures, what exactly are data structures, why we use it, and why there are different data structures for solving different types of problems. All that we looked into. You also got a basic foundational understanding of arrays and linked lists, and you also look at what exactly is a stack, like basic idea about stack, that what it is and where it is used, where does the stack fits in. So I hope you enjoyed this lecture, you got a good learning out of it. So do subscribe to this YouTube channel and share it in your circle, share it with your friends so that they can also get benefited from this video, with this lecture. So thanks again for watching, thanks for your time.